What's up, y'all? This is Rational Vids, and today I'm going to be showing you in context a series of two different videos, one from PBS and another from C-SPAN. And I feel like even though these sources are both corporate, they both are just live broadcasting things. There's no bias added to this. This is just a live broadcast of a Senate hearing where Christian Smalls was asked to testify in favor of the Amazon labor union, which I vehemently support. Testify in front of the U.S. Senate against what they term as illegal, and when it is illegal, what Amazon is doing to sway union elections against the workers. Amazon pumps millions of dollars of anti-union propaganda into this into pumps millions of dollars into anti-union propaganda in the workplaces where Amazon workers vote. And while Amazon labor union has had massive victories at the Staten Island warehouse, I remember they recently lost an election, it was because Amazon had invested so much money into this anti-union propaganda, and because Amazon has been filing a series of completely invalid lawsuits against the Amazon labor union movement, even after Christian Smalls, and even though Christian Smalls and his labor union movement are doing 100% legitimate direct action to help the labor union succeed. So props to Christian Smalls for standing up for the workers, standing up for the American people against the elites. So this first part is what I'm going to show you is Mr. Graham being a complete fucking simp for the corporations. And then we're going to watch Christian Smalls' response to this.
Idea that you can only get a government contract if you promise to be neutral is ridiculous. Boeing is in South Carolina making the 787. There's been efforts to unionize Boeing. They lose. The people in that plant will make that decision. The idea that Boeing can't argue the merits of a right to work environment for their business is ridiculous. I think patently illegal. This is a heavy-handed approach, the most radical agenda in my lifetime.
First of all, who are the people that make Boeing go? Is it the corporate executives, or is it the workers they hire to build the planes and build whatever other scientific innovations that they need? The workers are responsible for coming up with this. It's the strategists at Boeing, the engineers at Boeing, who look at this stuff, not the business people who run their corporation and are invested in their profits. It's the engineers and the workers who make Boeing go. Now, companies in big business interests are naturally anti-union because they don't want to lose more of their wealth. The reason that companies and big businesses always are anti-collective bargaining is because we have such poor protections for workers and collective bargaining in the United States. And finally, we are seeing workers stand up for their right to strike, their right to organize. And so this defense of the corporations by Lindsey Graham just feels poorly timed, first of all, and it also feels it's an completely old-fashioned, out-of-touch approach to this. He's acting like Boeing and all these other companies are like small businesses that are just getting off the ground. That's not fucking true. When companies like Boeing and Amazon have large amounts of money, and when I mean large, I mean immense, gigantic amounts of money, amounts of wealth. The concentration of wealth at the top is significantly 1,000 times higher, probably more than 1,000 times higher. To describe the amount of concentration at the top would be, I can't even find a word. It's immense compared to what workers and engineers get paid from Boeing or from Amazon. And especially Amazon's anti-union efforts, just because these people are naturally anti-union, of course they're going to be anti-union because they're complete piece of shit scumbag elites. That doesn't mean they can fucking break the laws that protect the workers, and send out strike breakers to arrest people in order to do this. It's like it's because they can't speak their freaking views with in fairness. They have to cheat and break the law in order to win because most people disagree with them. And calling it radical, Mr. Graham, is complete. And Mr. Graham, I mean Lindsey. I'm not going to simp for Lindsey Graham. You're a complete neocon warhawk who would be considered to the center right, if not the far right, in Europe. In most countries in Europe, most immensely in Scandinavian countries, collective bargaining and unionizing rights and putting pressure on companies is about as common as breathing air. So to call this freaking radical, it's only radical in the context of a country where we don't even give the workers rights. So eat your own shit, Lindsey.
And it should be carried out at the ballot box, and it will be. If we take this body back, this demonization of individual companies that are subject to the law will cease.
Again, he talks like they're individual companies. They're large corporations. They have more power over the government. In fact, the reason Lindsey is even defending these people is because because the business cuts them a paycheck. Because big business and corporations cut him a paycheck to defend them. Lobbyists provide Lindsey Graham with enormous amounts of money. Again, eat shit.
Well, first of all, I want to address Mr. Graham. First off, it sounded like you was talking about more of the companies and the businesses in your speech, but you forgot that the people are the ones who make these companies operate. And if we're not protected, and if the process for when we hold these companies accountable is not working for us, then that's the reason why we're here today.
Did you hear what he just said? It's us that powers the companies, not the other way around. The companies are constantly looking for people to hire. And if you expect your workers to work for you, you have to provide fair compensation and protections, worker protections, in order to run your business. If you don't, you will fail as a company. There's something wrong with your business model then if you are not providing workers adequate sums of money for the work they provide. People like Lindsey Graham act like he's being greedy. He's just another greedy welfare recipient. Like, no. This is a man who is fighting for basic worker protections and just compensation and the right to organize. Who's being greedy, Lindsey? It seems like Amazon is the greedy company here, not Christian Smalls, who's been out of work for 2 years because Amazon fired him over some bullshit reason. And he was very low end. He was like the head of, he was just a head at the warehouse. Not a very high position. And the fact that he was able to organize and strike against Amazon and organize warehouses, vote to unionize, and the fact that these union organizing drives are spreading across the country is a very good thing. There's more and more talk, there's more and more want to democratize the workplace. If you don't democratize the workplace, then there's not really much democracy in the political system. Is there, Lindsey?
That's the reason why I'm here, to represent the workers who make these companies go. And I think that it's in your best interest to realize that it's not a left or a right thing. It's not a Democrat or a Republican thing. It's a workers thing. It's a workers issue. And we're the ones that are suffering in the corporations that you're talking about, in the businesses that you're talking about, in the warehouses that you're talking about. So that's the reason why I think I was invited today to speak on that behalf. And you should listen because we do represent your constituents as well. So just take that into consideration that the people are the ones that make these corporations go. It's not the other way around.
Fuck yes. Absolutely fucking based, Christian. I always like him. I love how he dresses. He's unapologetic. He doesn't simp for the man. He completely dresses in his own fashion how he wants to, even if I think it's personally a little tacky. But otherwise, the eat the rich jacket, wearing all this shit to Congress, he's pimped out, man. He's got it going. He ain't some fucking robot in a suit. He's his own man. And that's what needs to represent the workers, the common man, the struggle of the common human being. Male, female, transgender, gay, straight, bi, lesbian, black, white, Latino, Asian, Native American, Polynesian / Pacific Islander, whatever. We are all one people in solidarity. The class consciousness is being fomented. If Lindsey Graham wants a class war, by saying, oh, people are going to vote at the ballot box. They're going to vote Republican, even though most people at the level agree with what Christian Smalls is doing. You're not going to get a lot of anti-union Republicans anymore, Lindsey. This does not go back. Lindsey's still like, oh, I'm still living in the 1990s with Reaganism and quote unquote trickled down economics, as if economics have ever trickled down in this country. Just make the poor richer, they say, while inflation rates continue to spike. So I love Christian Smalls here. I love his commentary, and his commentary was absolutely based. If you like this video, like and subscribe to Rational Vids.